I am Craig. Hello, I'm Craig. I am a compulsive overeater. Um, Thank you, Roger, for asking me to be here. I believe Jason is our newcomer. If there's any others that didn't identify, if I can do it, you can do it. We'll keep it really simple and start with that. I started here in 1986, 86, 87. I can't even remember. I was 199 pounds and I knew I would never get to 200. So I would go to Overeaters Anonymous. And I would just lose my weight, be happy for the rest of my life. All right. Little did I know, today I have 12 years. So do the math. I've had a few vacations out. When I started, I was at 199. I got to 167. It was way too thin for me. And eventually I got back to 272. This is a progressive disease. It was killing me. It's not about the food, but it starts with the food. It starts with what is on my plate. So, I've been told I'm outspoken. I've been told I take this too seriously. I've been told a lot of stuff. All I know is I was dying. So this is what I looked like when I came back. This is it's about a 46 waist with those really attractive, understated trunks. I was on a cruise. And this is what I looked like a couple of years ago. It's basically what I look like now. So for me, this is Overeaters Anonymous. It's not any other program. This is about the food. For me, it starts with the food. When I started, I'm going to jump around just because that's kind of my personality. I'm a food addict. I use food to get high. I use food to escape. Hungry, angry, lonely, horny, too much money, too little money, own a business, not own a business. It's raining, it's windy, it's too hot, it's too cold. I will eat. I will use any excuse to eat. My mom was 90. I was talking about it before, and there's family issues. My niece is her primary caregiver, and there are issues within the family. Shocking, issues within a family. I don't eat over it. I had a very successful business, lost the business. I now work for somebody else and I love it. First day at work was March 12th, 2020. 3 days later, the world closed down. I'm abstinent. Had COVID once, abstinent. Had COVID twice, abstinent. I've remained abstinent through ups and downs. The only way I have remained abstinent is by doing a shitload of work. This is not easy. It is my life. So when I got to program, I was 27, young, cute, hips looking cool. And I remembered this just a couple of days ago. When I was very new, I came into an inheritance. And what do you do when you're an addict and you have no idea about money? You waste it, right? So one of the things I invested in the stock market, and the stock market went down, so I took it all out. No. What I do today is I would ask one of you all, how did you stay abstinent with a shitload of money in the bank in stocks and it went down? Tell me what to do. This is a we program. Yes, it starts with the food, but if I don't have experience about something, I don't do it alone anymore. So what I did, lost all my money, bought a new car, and I'm driving to work, I'm driving to a meeting, and I get to the meeting and my sponsor whispers, he goes, "Are you okay? You're really late. What happened?" And I'm smiling, and I said, "Oh, I just rear-ended somebody on the way and totaled my car." But I was fine, you see. I'm always fine. I come from the fine family. Everything is great. Everything is fine, right? Dad was bipolar. Mama's still with us, as I said. She's 90, ill health. She was a compulsive worker. It was a very stereotypic upbringing. Mom and dad were kind of a reversal of role. None of those things are the reason I ate compulsively. I believe I have a disease. I believe I was born with it. I believe that my, the upbringing, the surroundings, whatever, I'm a compulsive overeater. I have a disease. Alcoholics drink too much. I ate too much. When I started working with my last sponsor, she said, you drink? I said, I do. Not a big deal. She says, if you want to work with me, you got to get sober. So I said to her, okay, that was it. Haven't had a drink. I don't know. It's probably 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, whatever. It was no big deal. You tell me so easily you have to stop eating? Not so easy. Not so easy. So I came in, I had 11 years. And a lot of stuff is coming back. It's very interesting because my mind I can't remember a lot of my history in OA. And what I love is my current sponsor has 5 years. So when I say to him, in 1995 in program, or in 2002, who cares? It is June 26, 2022. Who cares, right? So I had 11 years. And the meeting that I went to, in-person meeting, it's called the Log Cabin, huge meeting, still around on Zoom. And I stood up, you stand up, and I said, hi, I'm Craig, I have 11 years. And I sat down, just like that. I have 11 years with a frowning face. My sponsor walked up to me and he said, don't you ever take this for granted again. What kind of a message is that for a newcomer? He said, you've been granted a huge gift. Guess what? Soon after that, I blamed him, of course. I went out. All right. So why I came back, I don't know. Came back, I got 2 years, went out. Came back, I got 3 years, went out. Came back, I got 5 years, went out. In 2009, I pulled up in this driveway. I had a midlife crisis. What does a guy do? He goes and buys a little red sports car. I didn't know I was having a midlife crisis, but I did. So I bought a little red sports car and I was pushing 300 pounds. And I was just about to lose my business. And can I blame my compulsive overeating on losing my business? In part, yes, because I was actively using my drug of food so badly that I wasn't, I had the business for 20 years plus or minus. You don't pay, I didn't pay the government. I didn't pay my taxes. I was irresponsible. It tells me I'm irresponsible. It tells me I'm selfish. It tells me I'm self-centered. Did I want to deal with those things when I started in OA? No, I just wanted to get skinny. So if you're new and you're 2, 3, 4, 5, 600 pounds, whatever you are on camera or off camera, you can lose weight. You can do what the definition of abstinence is, obtain and maintain a healthy body weight, right? I used to think it was because I was Jewish. I used to think it was because I was gay. You name it, and I blamed it. I have a disease. I am powerless over food. My life is unmanageable. There's 2 parts to step 1. I am powerless over food. It does not say I'm powerless over food and my ass is too big. It doesn't say I'm powerless over food and my waistline is out of control. It says I'm powerless over food, my life, right? So 2009, I pulled up in my little red car. It was my weekend play car. And it was a tiny little car and I was a big guy and I could hardly shift. Something said, oh my God, you're dying physically, emotionally, and spiritually. I don't know what it was. People talk about a white light. They talk about a spiritual experience in the book. There's a lot written about that. Something happened and I had been to a nutritionist about 2 years before. It was a chiropractor and a nutritionist. I didn't go to him for nutrition. I went to him for chiropractic. And something said, call him. And I called him and I went in. He weighed me 272. I said, I cannot stop eating. And he said, here's what you're allergic to. Here's what I want you to eat. When someone tells you exactly what they want to eat, a professional, you lose weight if you stick to it. Any of us can do it for a time. tells us in the big book, if you think you're different than we are, our hats are off to you. Give it a shot. It invites us. It invites us to try, right? But I can only do it for so long. So I was losing weight. It was like 3 to 4 weeks. And I woke up one morning, I thought, who are you to think you can lose weight and not go back to Overeaters Anonymous? So I went back and I walked into the same meeting room I was at this morning. And I looked at the scariest guy in the room and I said, would you sponsor me? He said, yeah. You willing to talk to me about your food? I said, yeah, I am. He said, great. I showed him the food plan. He said, did you make this food plan? I said, no, a professional did. He said, great. I said, but it's not OA approved. He said, there's no OA approved. He said, was it your plan? I said, no. He said, that's all I need to know. If you're powerless and somebody else suggests what to eat and you went through that, great, let's start. Now let's start working the steps. And we did. So I now have 12 plus years. And I didn't weigh this month. I weighed last month. I weigh once a month per my sponsor's suggestion, per his sponsor. I do it. I'm told. Suggested. And I do it. So what do I do now? I go to about five meetings a week. Thursdays and Sundays, I meet with a group of guys. It's called Sober Eating. Basically, all it is being honest with your food. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal. It's being honest with my food. Whatever I eat, I take a picture, I send it to two guys. Nowhere is it written. There's no rules. It's just what has worked for other people. It works for me, and I carry it on to other guys. I am sponsored. I sponsor guys. I go through the book. I do the steps. I've written inventories. I've given them away. So what do I do today? Got up, prayed, meditated, went to a 7:30 in-person meeting, went to a 9 o'clock Zoom meeting, my breakfast meeting. I'm here, took a nap. I've had breakfast, I had a snack, I had lunch. Other people know what I ate, and I'll have an abstinent dinner, which is all committed. I did my writing. I wrote a letter to God. This is my life. This is my life. I have a really good life. As I said, I have a great job. I knew I'd be retired and living in the Hollywood Hills at 55. Well, little did I know, I'm not, right? God's plan was you're going to keep working. And thank God I have a good job to go to. Every day I'm grateful for what I do. I love what I do. I absolutely love what I do. I'm of service. I can use my talents that God has given me. And I have a sober eating plan. Basically what it is, what I do, I'm very specific. When I start working with guys, I sponsor 100-pound men. I don't sponsor women because I don't have that experience. I don't have the experience. I have a sponsee who calls himself quarter pounder. He's like a 30, 40 pounder. He's the only guy that I sponsor who's not a 100-pounder. I've been sponsoring him many, 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 many years. He's got 40 plus years in another program. I get more out of him than he gets out of me, I'm sure. So, but mostly what I do other than that is 100-pound men. And what I do is the first thing we do is we sit down and I say, tell me what food do you think will kill you? It's a pretty strong statement. But I know from experience, not from anywhere I've read, not from things I've heard from you, from experience, sugar will kill me. White flour will kill me. Corn will kill me. There are certain foods and certain food behaviors that will kill me. You know, this is about OA. People will often say, can we talk about food? I have to talk about food. This is what I had 5 bowlfuls of chopped liver. I've had 11 donuts. I've had 6 or 7, bagels, boxes of cereal. I'm sure there's guys on here who could outdo me. I don't know. I did a pretty damn good job. I did not get to 300, 400, or 500 pounds. I do not know why. Maybe I'm too vain. I really do not know why.
Craig, you still have 5 minutes?
That's great. Thank you. When asked to be of service, I say yes. The other day I was asked to be of service at the very like the night before a meeting, and I needed to listen. And I called a fellow And I said, I've been leading too much. I'm sick of hearing myself. And he said, you know what? Sometimes you say no, thank you. But I went to a fellow because I've always been told to be of service. So I listened. I went to that meeting and I listened. If you're going to eat at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're a quote night eater, we all think we're so special, right? I couldn't wake anybody else. I would rather have you wake me up in the middle of the night if you are willing. If you are willing to really take this thing seriously, and you've made a decision to turn your will and your life over to the care of God. And we heard the steps, we've heard the tradition, we've heard the tools. If you really do, freaking call me at 3 o'clock and wake me up to make that commitment, as opposed to calling me in the morning and saying, I didn't want to wake you up. Let me deal with my sleep. Let me deal with it. This is a life and death disease. For me, it starts with what is on my plate. If I fuck with my food, my life goes down the tubes. Number one is my abstinence. I never believed people when they said that. I thought it was bullshit, honestly. Number one is my food. I've been through a lot in the last 12 years. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. Food doesn't change. The weight is about, it just kind of stays. And said enough. I owe my life to this program. I owe my life to you men. If you're scared to share, if you want to eat, I invite you to share your guts with this group. We share on a general level, on a group level. But I also invite you, I can put my name in the chat. And if you need to talk, call me. And I hope I've helped at least one person, and I thank you for allowing me to be of service.